A little bit confused with this one, because it does say here that Hot Cocoa Nerd. Oh, okay, Hot Cocoa Nerd and Amunis Creeps wrote this one. So, but Hot Cocoa Nerd does not have that in the office page. They do have another one that's 2344, which is we're going to read today. But I assume that maybe Amunis Creeps maybe wrote the main thing, and Hot Cocoa Nerd was like a co-writer, and now it's not in the credits. The artist formerly known as Dreamwalker Faye. Yeah, it's not here, but apparently they worked on it. Well, not apparently, it does say so that they worked on it. So they worked on Welcome Home. So we have Home, Sick Hills, and now we have Welcome Home. Well, I think that's what those hills wanted to hear, you know, those poor hills. Whose home is this? Whose home? Ooh, some pelicans. Okay. Object class safe. Special containment procedure SB2341 and the surrounding terrain are to be constantly monitored by Site 48 extensions. Extension security post 2341. Any non-Foundation personnel attempting to enter SB2341's containment area are to be detained and reported. Any spontaneous anomalous activity from SB2341 is to be locked. Mobile Task Force Z07 Homestead are to keep non-Foundation personnel from traveling to SB2341. The containment area is to be surrounded by an electric fence. Zeno, I have a question for you, and also I have a question for people watching this video right now. If this was not as decrepit, like it was actually a stable looking house, would you, as in like the house itself actually, like, you know, had a fresh paint job, there were not that many pelicans on top of it, but it still was on land like that, would you live in it? Well, you immediately said no before I even asked the question. But yeah, I guess you knew what I was about to ask. Like, okay, I wonder what the people watching this video will think. Like, would you live in a house like that if it didn't look like this? If it was like freshly built, but it was still like on the on the garbage, like it looks like it's just like wheels and other trash underneath it. But yeah, would anybody actually live in this if it didn't look like that? If it looked a bit more up to par. Description: SB2341 is an abandoned 2-story house located on a small sandbank between Little Thatch Island and Phyllis Island, Cape Cod. The condition of the structure's exterior indicates exposure to the elements for a prolonged period of time. The interior, when viewed through the windows, is heavily fire damaged and shows no signs of recent habitation. Well, let me guess, the moment you enter in, suddenly you have a hot wife who's like, "Welcome home, darling. Do you want dinner, a bath, or a pelican?" And you're like, what? Another question is, how the hell did it get there? Maybe a flood tsunami. With the logic of SCPs, I assume it just exists there. I don't think it got swept there. SB2341's anomalous properties activate only when a human subject older than 18 years of age opens the front door. 18 years of age, okay, maybe. Only one subject at a time can enter but cannot leave until the anomalous events have concluded. If the subject 18 and older brings a second subject within, the first subject will enter successfully, but the second subject will be teleported outside of SB2341 and door will close. Is this actually going to be what I think it is? The door will also remain closed if the house is already occupied. When entering SB2341, the interior will reshape itself to look identical to the home that the subject had lived in for the first 18 years of life. Aw, that's nice. You could find your child. Well, wait, that has lived. Identical to the home that subject had lived for in the first 18 years of life. I mean, what if you moved around a lot though? But the first 18 years of life, so that banks on the fact that if the subject has lived in one place for 18 years, what if they like moved around houses? Outside observation, but the windows will be blocked by the curtains inside of SB2341. SB2341's interior changed during its enormous effect does not correspond with external geometry of the house. Subjects that have moved during this time period will enter the home that they lived in the most. This is their moment, stay outside. This is their moment, stay outside, hon. Yeah. Don't be a third wheel. Don't try to like cock block his time. The subject will then encounter a variable number of -1 instances. These instances will bear the exact appearance of all the subject's immediate family members as well as their former household pets. Oh no, is this gonna be sad? Is this not horny at all? Is this gonna be sad? Subjects that have grown up with an adopted or foster family will encounter -1 instances based on the surrogate family rather than the biological one. -1 instances that resemble deceased family members are aware of the original counterpart's current condition, but will not treat their appearance as an irregular occurrence. Oh, so if somebody was like, oh yeah, your grandfather died of cancer, or anything like that, like, they are aware that like the grandfather will still have cancer, but none of them go like, note the fact that the grandfather is alive again. They just be like, oh yeah, he's still here. Subject will remain in SCP-2341 for approximately 8.5 hours regardless of the time of entry. At the end of the visit within SCP-2341, all -1 instances in the subject will prepare for sleep. Once the subject has fallen asleep, they will be teleported to and will wake up at the front door of SCP-2341. Very similar to the SCP where you have a family there, and all the family members are random people, and they're like, yeah, if you sleep upstairs for one night, you become part of the family. But instead of that, it's people that look exactly like your family, and it looks like you just teleport outside. I wonder if there's a side effect. There must be. It has been noted that the reference to the entity by the name of Peter have been present in various SCP-1 conversations. Currently, no known information has been discovered about this person. So Peter gets mentioned, even though maybe they don't have a Peter in the family. He seems to get mentioned. Interesting. As of 2015, subjects have witnessed a humanoid entity designated -2 during their stay inside of SCP-2341. Now that is where I would be freaked out. Imagine you're in a random place that looks like your home inside, with people that look like your family, but then there's this one person that's not supposed to belong there, just hanging out. Subjects perceive -2 as either an older child or young adult. Ages observed range between approximately 10 to 18 years of age. Sightings consist of brief glimpses of -2 before the entity moves out of the subject's line of sight. Attempts to follow the entity have so far proven futile. Subjects can detect when -2 is nearby. Nearby from loud aggravated grunts and crying. See also addendum 2. Grunts and crying. That doesn't sound good. Addendum 1. Through testing of D-class personnel, it has been discovered that the events which take place within SCP-2341 will always follow a specific pattern. The pattern of events has been recorded in the table below. And you know, I like to imagine some kind of old 70-year-old man that just goes into the house and gets to experience his last happy moments in his childhood home until he dies of old age. That's very wholesome, but I feel like that's not going to be the case. Time of event, 1 to 2 hours. Content of event, -1 instances greet the subject and welcome them back to their home after having been away for an extended period of time. Afterwards, the subject and -1 instances engage in casual conversation on topics such as current events and life situations. 2 to 3.2 hours. And -1 instance, often the mother of the subject calls for everyone to put on a performance. This will include showing special talents from other family members, example playing music instruments, acting, singing, or any means of entertainment. Okay, 3.2 to 4 hours. -1 instance announces that dinner has been made. All instances and the subject will gather around the table. A prayer will be spoken before eating the served food. Footnote here. Prayers can change depending on what religion the subject follows and are only present if the subject has religious affiliation. So, if they don't, if they're atheists, then I assume there's no prayer. 4 to 7 hours, all instances will help clean up the table and the dishes. As soon as this task is complete, the family members start various activities independently or with other instances. Most activities consist of either hobbies or group-oriented games. The subject can choose which activity to partake in, but cannot leave SB2341. And then 7 to 8.5 hours, the actual instances will begin preparing for sleep after activities have been completed or have grown tired. Toiletries such as facial cream or retainers are present for the subject to use. Afterwards, once the subject has entered the room, they will enter sleep and will be teleported to the front door of SB2341. Okay, that still sounds all okay. It still sounds like just having a happy family time. But there must be some sort of drawback. Who is -2, for example? And then 2, drone exploration. On 2015, researcher Andrew proposed sending a drone into the interior of SB2341 while the front door of SB2341 is open in an attempt to see the original interior of SB2341. The proposal has been authorized. Photo taken by D1169 during Test 19. The drone is sent in as agent Sagio holds open the door. The camera feed shows the house to be burned with some patches of corrosion on the walls and floors. Approximately 7 centimeters of water covered the floor. A sound believed to be human weeping can be heard originating from the living room. The drone must move toward the source of the noise while avoiding the water so as to not become damaged. The drone enters the living room. Analysis of the noise seemed to indicate both an adult and adolescent male weeping in unison. Okay. Positioned in the middle of the living room is a gray humanoid in a fetal position as well as 2 burned cadavers. Speculated to be -2. The drone approaches the humanoid until the feed cuts to static with the continuous sound of crying from the humanoid. A little bit of a... Okay, addendum 3. Security post 2341, spontaneous anomalous activity number 1, or 00001. During a low tide on the sandbank of SB2341, a red gasoline tank was found several meters from SB2341. The gasoline tank had shown signs of age and deterioration. Inside of the tank was an aged box of matches containing 4 unused matches in the box. The following note was found inside of the tank. To Fitzgerald, we did what we had to do. We had to stop him. May God forgive us for what we did. Do not let him out. Susan. Okay. That took a dark turn. So it looks like they had to burn the house down and kill somebody. And that's probably why it looks like this. Like it's a little bit like... Maybe not burn the house, but they definitely burned whoever the character was. Whoever these 2 burned cadavers are. Discussion. I mean, okay, sure. I'm pretty sure it's... I don't think they're going to talk about it. Discussion really does not really... Yeah, discussion just criticizes the SCP itself. It doesn't... What are you confused about? There's a person there that was crying. There's two burned bodies, which the note basically saying whoever that body was that got burned was definitely like some sort of danger. That's why there was a gasoline tank found and a match. So whoever is crying is definitely Fitzgerald, because Susan says we did what we had to do. We had to stop him. May God forgive us for what we did. Do not let him out. So they definitely had to kill somebody. And maybe because of Fitzgerald's like grief of whoever died, it created a anomalous effect where, you know, your family are happy together. Whoever this person is that they couldn't let out must have been like a menace. Just dangerous. Just like maybe psychopathic, maybe even like a murderer. So they killed him. Fitzgerald comes back, sees that not only is whoever this person is dead, but perhaps Susan as well, because there's 2 cadavers. And again, through that grief, spawned a anomalous effect in the house where it represents a happy family. That's at least that's what I understood and connected. I could be fully wrong, but that's at least what I understood. And yeah, the discussion does not help. It's just saying like, oh, this SCP is not good enough. I'm like, okay, listen, does anybody in here actually want to ask what or discuss what they read? The only thing I wonder is, why does it have the teleportation ability? Like, why does it teleport you out? Maybe because you're not actually Fitzgerald's family. It's your family and it's not his family, so he's like, get it out. You had enough of your own happy life. I want my happy life back. But maybe it doesn't work for him. That's why he's crying, because like everybody who walks in gets to experience a happy family, but he doesn't. Maybe. A happy life with a happy family. Only for 8 hours. Then you are out. Fitzgerald weeps for you and himself. Don't put the blame on me.